What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Pod Scum. I'm your host, Reckless Rex Ruger. That's the Freddie Mercury puppet. We're back with another incredible episode. It's what we do, kids, and we ain't about to change it now. My guest is already here. We're diving in and getting this thing fired up immediately, man. So here we go. A return guest. I'm excited. Let's do it. Where is he? We will get him here. We got you, Les. We got you. Just got to fire up that camera and that microphone, and we will have him. And Les is trying. Les is trying his darndest. And, of course, none of this will be edited out because you know how I roll. There he is. Do we got you?
Hey, look at that.
How are you, man?
I'm hanging in there. Let me adjust my volume.
Yeah.
This is always an adventure.
You know what? I think people have the illusion that the fact that I do a podcast that I'm technically proficient, and I'm not.
Well, I mean, I know what I'm doing. It's just that the equipment doesn't always want to comply at the crucial moments.
Yeah. Exactly. That's what it is. Yeah, I always say there's no crying.
Happens at home.
Yeah, there's no crying in podcasting, and I think I've been through it all. I mean, complete power outages, glitches. People aren't able to get into the room. They're not able to, enable their microphone, their camera. You never know. It's Murphy's Law with this all the time. What's going to go wrong is going to go wrong, and it always does.
Right.
Yeah.
But, hey, look at this.
Yeah, perfect. You know what, man? I've always worn the hair and made the claim that I'm the love child of Diamond Dave Lee Roth, but I think I'm starting to look more maybe like you.
Oh, well, that's unfortunate. I'm sorry. You can contact my attorneys about that.
But listen, first of all, congrats, man. I had to run around and do some errands today, man, and I was really digging the new, well, I guess it is new, right? The new project, Subversion Trigger.
Subversion Trigger.
Awesome demo. Yeah, really enjoyed it, man. Yeah, 5 really strong fucking songs, man. Man, they were good.
And we got 5 more already in the can, ready to go. And I've got about 4 more ready to go after that. So we are rolling.
Yeah. Now, so when you guys are putting this music together, is it very collaborative, or are you taking the reins with the creative stuff?
Well, I would say that it's very collaborative because how this started was I was out of work and for the longest time, I was looking for a job and thinking, well, I can't write music. That's counterproductive to me finding work. And I was like, fuck it, no one's hiring me. I might as well write music.
Right.
So I started writing this just completely out of the blue. I wasn't even trying to write music, and it just started to come out of me. And pretty soon I had about 3 songs. And first I contacted Brad and Dave Webb, who were both in CRYPTIC with me in the last incarnation of CRYPTIC. And I said, hey, I think I have something here. Are you guys interested in, keeping this going? And so I kind of come up with a foundation for a lot of our songs. But then after I present it to the band, it becomes something greater because they all throw in at that.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, I never thought of that. I never thought about doing that here. I never thought of that melodic line here. So I'm lucky that I have a band of very creative individuals. And I mentioned we have 10 songs now. Well, Dave Webb, the guitar player, has written 2 of those all by himself without any input from me. And they're both great. And our bass player, Zoo, has got a new song that we started working on together, just her and I, when we were jamming the other day. So, we really do. I want everybody's input. And we arrange songs that way, too. It's like, what if we change this? Do we really need 2 bridges here? It's all up for debate. And the more we throw in together, the better I think everything comes out.
Yeah. And now, were you concerned at all about, because obviously in the music world, with such an influx of music on the streaming platforms and so many artists out there and able to get your music up there nowadays, Whether anybody's paying attention because there's so much of it out there is a different story. But you know, obviously branding is an important part. So you guys were Cryptic for a while, Low Life, and then for a short time there was Manifest Chaos in there.
Right.
And so now this is scrapping all that and starting completely fresh. You know, I mean, like, was there reservations about that at all?
No,
Okay.
not really, because like I said, this was also organic.
Okay.
You know, I realize the marketing end of it and getting people to listen. That's the toughest thing now, right? Just getting people to pay attention. But ultimately, you know, what I said to myself was I'm usually never happier when I'm composing music, at least when I'm alone.
Yeah.
Creating is really what like gets me excited. And so I decided, look, the important thing is that I'm making music, that I'm making art. That's what I want to do. Whether anybody else wants to pay attention to it, I don't have a lot of control over that. But you know, the deal was that after we lost the name CRYPTIC Slaughter in a lawsuit, and that's about as far as I can go into that.
Yep.
That's when we switched to Manifest Chaos. But we then realized a couple of things. First of all, people have very short memories.
Yeah.
And trying to get the fan base to realize that CRYPTIC Slaughter is now Manifest Chaos proved way more difficult than I thought it would be.
Yeah.
Even with social media. But beyond that, it was just, now that we couldn't play gigs as Cryptic anymore, we no longer had an income stream. And so we've got 2 guys in LA, three guys in Seattle, and getting together, we couldn't practice together. We couldn't, you know, it was just too difficult to keep it, you know, to keep us as a band. You have to be able to play regularly. And that's why when I started over with Subversion Trigger, I said, look, it's got to be local. I have to have 5 people here that I can get together with. We can jam. That's just how it ended up. So, you know, I was very, you know, originally very upset and sad about the way Cryptic ended, but everything happens for a reason, I guess. And I'm quite happy with the situation as it is currently.
So from Cryptic to Manifest Chaos, Yomi, how has the lineup changed? Where are we now with the lineup? Because I know in past incarnations of the band, we had Menno, we had Scott, Brad, people who's still on board and who's not in this current project.
Subversion Trigger still has Brad Mallon on vocals, who was our vocalist for the whole run from Low Life to Cryptic to Low Life again. Cryptic to Meta. Brad was with me the whole time.
He's dedicated. We got him on board.
Right. And Dave Webb, my lead guitar player, joined in early 2022 after Matt Olivo left the band.
Right.
Matt Olivo, who is Repulsion's guitar player, was playing guitar with Low Life and Cryptic, but he left the band, and to fill his absence, we got Dave in the band. So Dave's been with us since the early part of 2022.
Okay.
So Menno and Scott are the 2 who are no longer playing with the current band Subversion Trigger.
Okay. And that comes down to, as you said earlier, just a geographical type situation.
Yep.
Okay. So all ended well, amicable, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Okay.
Scott and Menno are still, of course, I've known Scott just longer than just about anybody. We've been friends since 1984. He's one of my best friends in the world. And Menno is honestly one of the smartest, kindest, funniest, most talented people I've had the pleasure to know.
Yeah.
And I love that guy. And I, you know, both of those guys are so solid and such an important part of my life that, you know, I reached out to them before. Because I wasn't sure how far Subversion Trigger was going to go. I didn't know to release something. But when we were ready to finally release something, I reached out to those guys and said, look, this is what's going on. And they've both been so supportive. and they're huge. They're both huge fans of Subversion Trigger, and that just makes me very happy.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. And I can't remember if I asked you this the last time I had you on, but if I can backtrack for a minute, because I've done so many of these episodes, and you do hear a common backstory with a lot of people that get into the artistic field, that they maybe come from upbringings where maybe a lot of records were playing in the house, or they had musical proficient parents, or just an inspiring household when it comes to the arts. Was that the case for you?
I think that I grew up in a household where my parents were very supportive of what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
No matter what that was. So that went from, the early days of being obsessed with horror movies when I was like 7 to, to Kiss, and then to skateboarding, and then to surfing, and then to guitar playing. Basically, all the things that you don't want your kids to do, I was into.
Yeah, they indulged. Yeah.
My mom was a piano player.
Okay.
So she taught me how to play real simple piano, and taught me how to read music when I was 8. Again, very, very simple kind of, but she always had talent. She's always been a great, and my dad was always a huge fan of jazz and music that wasn't really like bebop and stuff was considered like, that was bad. You weren't supposed to go see those bands.
Right.
That was like, those were the druggies.
Right.
And my dad was president of the jazz club at his college when he was, in like 1956 or 7 or what have you. So, they've both always been music fans. So that was definitely a part of my upbringing as well.
Okay. And so when you're crafting these songs, getting back to the creative process a little bit, how are these songs usually born? Like, what comes first with a Subversion Trigger song? Does it start with an idea, a line, a riff?
It starts with me just screwing around on the guitar, and somehow, hey, that's a riff I don't think I've ever written before. And I'll record it, because if I don't, I'll forget it.
Yeah.
And then I'll start working on variations on the theme. And like, maybe can I make this better? Is there something? Do I have something already written that might go with this? I have this database of riffs that is kind of insane. And just, you never know when something is going to fit. The funny thing is, and I've done this several times with Subversion Trigger, I'll write a riff and I'll think, this is great. I'm going to build a song around this riff.
Yeah.
And so I do that, but then I'm such like a kind of a fierce editor. And I've learned that being ruthless when it comes to cutting your own song really pays dividends. And so a couple of times that riff that I built a song around ends up getting cut out.
Yeah.
Because it just doesn't fit the vibe anymore.
Right.
And the song has become something so much different. So that's what I try to do. I try to let my instinct really tell me where a song is going to go. I don't have any preconceived notions. I don't know what you want to call it, the muse, the universe, but something, is active in the process, because it just feels, when you have a song, it's like, wow, it's like, it's a rush that I can't even describe when the song comes together the way you want it to. So yeah, no, it is an interesting process. It's like I said, I try not to be guided by anything other than what feels right. And I'll record a riff, and sometimes, I'll listen to it a week later and think, yeah, this is great. Or what the hell was I thinking?
Right.
Sometimes it'll be 2 a.m. and, I'll come up with something, and it might not even plug in. I'll just record it. So
Sounded great at 2 a.m.
I can write a riff and play it 100 times. If I don't record it, I'll forget the damn thing.
Yeah. And obviously people are listening and consuming music differently now here in 2026 and have been for the past couple of years. Do you guys as a band conscientiously discuss the format of releasing music now. Like, are you guys LP? Thinking along the lines of EPs, shorter projects? What's going through your minds in terms of that?
There are a lot of schools of thought now.
Yeah.
I know I have a friend who says, I'll never release a record again. I'm just going to put out individual songs.
Yeah.
The attention span is so short that if you're not constantly like putting something new out, forget about you. There's a sea of bands now, there's just so many choices. But and I see the value in that. I also like to release full length. Because I feel like there's something important about a collection of songs that represent a period of time in an artist's life.
Yeah.
An artist's existence, what have you. So I'm still into putting out records, but at the same time, I'm not adverse to like dropping a single. Hey, here's a new song. That's a great idea too. I'm into all of it. And the first 5 songs that we recorded really was supposed to be a demo, but this local label in Seattle now is pressing it for release on CD and cassette, and that's great. I'm excited about that.
Yeah. And shout out to them, right? We're talking about Nameless Grave.
Nameless Grave.
Okay.
Which is a label I didn't even know about because there are so many labels now. But these guys have impressed me. The guy who runs it, I think primarily Brandon, it seems like he's really on top of things. And they have a license to reissue a lot of the old Metal Blade bands that were in the stable when we were on the label back then. So that's kind of nostalgic too, like Detente and Sirathungal and a bunch of these old bands. And so that's kind of a cool nostalgia point for me.
And so how do you link up with them? Are you on their radar? Are they on yours? How does this correlation happen?
We'd had a few different labels contact us about doing a potential release, but when Nameless Grave approached us, they contacted me. Brandon contacted me, and I was like, "Wow, these guys are local. I love that." Again, having shit nearby means a lot. It really does. And so he's in a band too, so he knows what it's like to try to get your music out there. He also promotes shows. He does a festival in Seattle every year. And so he's got his hands in a lot of things, and I respect that. And I appreciate his hustle.
Yeah. And for fans of Cryptic Slaughter, who and again, having done 370 plus episodes of this, Cryptic Slaughter and talking to people, has come up on numerous occasions. Whether or not you realize it or not, the influence is there. For fans of Cryptic Slaughter, what can they expect from Subversion Trigger? Any similarities? Any drastic differences? How is this different from Cryptic Slaughter? What can fans expect?
Well, when Cryptic Slaughter comes up, usually the thing that people think of is speed.
Yes. Yeah.
And I appreciate that. And I understand the reason for that. We're not as focused on constant speed.
Right.
Although I will say I am obsessed with songs that move.
Yeah.
I want these songs to finish and end without any unnecessary extraneous bullshit. I'm trying to cut all of the pretension and crap out of songs so that it's just full on momentum, aggression. And I only know how to write music one way. I can't do anything else.
Right.
I wouldn't know how to write like a country song if I tried.
Yeah.
So, it's still, I'm focused on speed, aggression, but also, something else that Cryptic always tried to do was write catchy, hooky tunes.
Yes.
That was what set us apart from a lot of the bands that were just, a drone of grind or whatever.
Yeah.
we actually had hooks.
You had melody. You had melody, without a doubt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think you can incorporate melody and interesting rhythms into aggressive music and still write thrash songs that are exciting and fun and make you want to get up off the couch. That's really what this is about.
Yeah. Yeah. And it should be. And it should be. Yeah. Yeah. And now when you put new stuff out, and especially because all of this is new, you know, I mean, the project, the band name, the songs, are you somebody that when this stuff gets leaked onto the internet or ends up on the internet, or like, you know, I happen to be listening to it today through Bandcamp, will you find outlets or websites or anything where feedback and criticism is being offered up, and will you look into it and see, hey, what are people saying about this new project? Are people digging it? I want to try to put my finger on the pulse of, you know, people's opinions here.
Well, the main thing, and I mentioned this before, is that the people that have been the closest to me over the last 30, 40 years are the people whose opinions matter to me the most.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I've gotten such great feedback from those people in my life. You know, I'm talking about people like Dan Clements, who sings for Excel. I'm talking about Bill Matoyer, who produced the first 2 Cryptic albums.
Yep.
I'm talking about Mitch Harris, who was in Righteous Pigs and later Napalm Death.
Yep.
I've gotten nothing but great feedback from all of my old friends. And that's really where the barometer starts for me. I feel like if they're on board, then everybody else will, or you know, not everybody. I can't. But see, the thing is, I can't worry about that because I think you have to write music to make yourself happy. Because if you're writing music thinking, oh, maybe I better change it because the fans might not like this, then you know, what are you doing? I understand fans, but I think that comes organically. I don't think you can try to come up with a formula that will make you likable.
Right.
Or make people appreciate the music. I think you just have to do what you think sounds good and hope everybody else gets on board.
Yeah. Yeah. I've had a few people on here in the past couple of months echo the same sentiment. So there must be some kind of truth to it. I'm interested in your take on it. But, you know, there's been a few people that have said that heavy metal, thrash metal, death metal, extreme metal, whatever you want to call it, all falls under that same umbrella, is really still an old man's game. You know what I mean? You know, I'm 53 years old. Actually, my birthday is today. So
happy birthday.
Yeah. I'm doing a birthday episode today, and you're it. So yeah, I'm honored. But an old man's game, and I thought about that for a minute, and I thought, you know what? All the bands from my era, you know, thrash or otherwise, even heavier genres, are still you know, the elder statesmen of the genres, and they're still delivering into a high degree.
Well, you know, I think that maybe those people haven't done enough research.
Yeah.
Because there are a ton of great younger thrash bands.
Sure. Yeah.
And it matters where you're looking. You know,
yeah.
From my perspective, I see things that are being called metal now, and I'm going, really?
Yeah, right.
What you consider metal?
Yeah. Yeah.
I think it's become a marketing term.
Yeah.
There's a lot of bands that aren't metal that are now being marketed as metal. And I think it's just horseshit.
Yeah.
But I'll give you an example of some bands that we played with. There's a band from Austria called Insanity Alert.
Okay.
They've been around for probably 10 years or so now. So they're not like kids, but they're fucking amazing. And they carry that crossover flag as well as anybody.
Yeah.
Of course, Municipal Waste, those guys are kind of like the link between the old school and the new school.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah.
Those guys were really, really huge in keeping crossover and thrash alive.
Yeah.
And by the way, they're great guys. Loved hanging out and partying with those guys when we played with them. But then you've got bands like Gamma Bomb from Ireland.
Yep.
Another amazing thrash band. And yeah, these these guys aren't getting the attention they deserve, and it's unfortunate. But I try to spread the word. Oh, speaking of which, there's a band from Seattle called Disc Test.
Okay.
What I consider to be a crossover thrash band, and they are insane. These are full-on kids. These are like kids in their 20s.
That's good to see. Yeah.
And they play with all wireless equipment. The guitar player and the bass player are like running outside. They're like running around in the street while the band's going on. They're high energy. They're everything you want out of a thrash band. And these bands do exist. They are out there. So to say, this is an old man's game, I think is horseshit. Plus, so what's a young man's game? If we're an old man's game, what the fuck is a young man's game?
Right. I think sometimes it maybe just comes down to the fact that the older thrash bands are still out there, and maybe, as you are alluding to, man, they're overshadowing these bands when and maybe more spotlight needs to get on these bands. Hopefully, maybe these bands can get on the right tours and the right bills. Like what would you tell a young band? Like you're talking about this band from Seattle, who very much sounds like Cryptic in the early stages, where you guys were just kids yourself. If they come to you and they say, how do we get out there? How do we get the recognition here in 2026? How do you answer that? Because I imagine there probably are bands that might come to you and say, hey, can we pick your brain? Can we get your thoughts on some stuff?
Well, everything has changed so much now that, those guys are doing a great job of promoting themselves. And if there's a key, they're figuring it out because they have a great local draw. They have great merch. They do great promotion on social media. So I mean,
obviously social media helps because you guys didn't have the advantage of social media back in the 80s when you guys were young and starting out. So.
Right. The difference now, of course, is that there's so many bands.
Yeah.
It's just a sea of choices. And just getting out there and getting heard is the biggest part of it. But I just think you just have to work. They also play out a lot. They play a lot of gigs. Yeah, and I think they've earned a draw by doing that. And they have a really a great draw that is starting to help build up the thrash scene in Seattle again.
Yeah,
we went to a thrash show that was packed on the north end of Seattle, which is something I haven't seen for a long time. Another great band from Seattle, Solicitor.
Okay,
I would call them more speed metal. Than I would crossover, but they fit that old school mold. They could have been playing in the 80s, and they kick ass. They're so good. If you haven't heard Solicitor, check them out. They got at least 4 records, I think.
So there's good stuff coming out of the Pacific Northwest. Metal is going to be in good hands. It's going to be in good hands. Yeah.
I also think there's no age. Why the hell are we worried about age of the audience? Even if they're into it, they're into it. I got news for you, kids. You're all going to get old.
Right, you are.
It happens to the best of us. You can't stop it.
You
got 2 choices: get old or die.
Yeah. That's true. Father Time is undefeated so far. He always seems to win. He always seems to win. And so I'm glad you brought up the fact that this young band is making their bones out there playing live. You've been doing this for a long time. Obviously, getting out there and touring and seeing parts of the world. There's a glamorous side to it, but again, having talked to a lot of artists on here, you get a couple weeks into a tour, you miss the creature comforts of home. It can get a little tedious out there on the road. Where do you stand right now here in 2026, for as long as you've been doing this on touring, getting out there playing live?
I really like to play live, but there is definitely a drudgery involved in doing a long tour.
Yeah.
My ideal thing now is tours would be touring like 2 weeks, 3 weeks at a time, because that way you're getting out there, you're getting a lot of shows in, but you're not getting too dragged out to, because this is high energy music. You're expending a lot of energy doing it. But also, being able to do festivals, that's huge. We flew out to do Maryland Death Fest. We flew out to do Obscene Extreme. That's so much fun. You know,
Yeah.
it's a trip somewhere you don't normally get to be, and you get to meet people and you get to play for people you don't usually get to play for. So yeah, I would take probably any big tour that was offered at this point. I would take. Hell, Cryptic got offered to do a month in Europe with Napalm Death, but we had to turn it down.
Yeah.
Because we lost the name.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's those kind of things that you know, I love to play, but yeah, no, I get it. It can be a drag sometimes too, depending.
I know it's difficult, and I don't want to put you in a difficult spot, but for fans, you know, who might be tuning in, who might have heard us drop the Cryptic Slaughter name a couple times, and might be scratching their heads as they watch this, saying, "What does he mean lost the name? Wasn't he there from the beginning?" What are you at liberties to say as to why you can't be Cryptic Slaughter? And I obviously choose your words carefully. I don't want to put you in a difficult position, but for people that might say, it sounds like this guy was there at the beginning, why can't he be Cryptic Slaughter?
Yeah, you know, and the crazy thing is, it's so many bands have gone through this, right? It's not
Right,
just
sure.
us.
Oh yeah.
But every single thing is a unique circumstance.
Yeah.
And every single thing has things in the background that you don't know about what's going on.
Sure.
And,
Understood. Yep.
and so there was a legal action taken against us, basically preventing us from moving forward with using the name. That's about the size of it.
Okay.
And I know it seems silly because we were never a huge band to begin with.
Right.
So
Right.
give a fuck.
Right. Right. It does seem crazy. It does seem. That's why I had to ask, because it does seem crazy, and I can't believe that there were a lot of people out there. You know, I wanted to clear that up, because maybe people are thinking, like, what is there, like a 4 or 5 other groups out there that want to be Cryptic Slaughter, and they're all vying for this name?
No, I don't think anybody wants to be Cryptic.
Right. Right. I mean, it was a very unique name too. You know, annexing those two words together. You know, I mean, it's.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. It was a bummer, but I'm over it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
The legacy will always be there.
No question.
What we did, what the fun we had, all the bands we got to meet and play with, the experience, you know, nothing will change that.
Yeah.
And to be honest with you, it's a bit freeing now writing music under a different name, because if we had stuck with Cryptic, there would have been expectations.
Yes.
It would have been,
yeah.
Why doesn't it sound like Convicted? Why doesn't it sound like Money Talks?
Yeah.
And the answer to that would have been, every single Cryptic Slaughter album sounds different.
Yeah. Yeah.
Every one. And that's just who we were.
Yeah.
And I totally appreciate bands like AC/DC who do the same thing forever and people love it, but that's just not what we were built to do.
Right.
And so likewise, there's the Subversion Trigger sounds different than Cryptic also. Well, hell, if we had done another record as Cryptic, that would have sounded different than all those first 4 too. So it's just kind of the nature of the beast, I guess. And it's the way I want it, because that's kind of how I orchestrated it.
Right. And now you mentioned earlier a couple minutes ago that you just you know how to create music, and you know how to make it fast, up tempo, aggressive. Obviously, there's no shortage of fucked up shit going on in the world right now to draw material from, man. But you know, at this stage of your career, at your age, man, where are you drawing all this aggression from? I mean, are you a guy that looks at the news, looks at movies, looks at what's going on in the world? Or do you just conjure this stuff up, you know, in your mind? You know, how do you formulate these songs? I mean, what gets the juices flowing?
Well, of course, as you pointed out, particularly what's happening right now,
No doubt. Yep.
You could use that fuel to
many albums. Yeah.
But I don't have to be pissed off to write aggressive music.
Yeah.
I haven't really been a song lyricist for many years. I did help write one of the songs that Cryptic did, some lyrics. That was the first time I'd tried writing the lyrics in a long time.
Yeah.
And to be honest with you, that's a song that is still in the, on the back burner, but it was about the rise of fascism when Trump first got into office.
Right.
So he enabled like these Proud Boy dipshits to come out, and everyone was like, oh, what, we can be fascist again? It's it's okay now. And so that was what that song was about. And yeah, absolutely, that was inspired by anger. But when I'm writing music, aggressive music is just second nature to me. It's just what makes me happy. So I could be in a fantastic mood and write a brutal riff and be in even a better mood. Because, hey, that's awesome. All the hundreds and probably thousands of riffs that I've written, and I can still get off when I write a new one and be excited about it. That's what makes art so compelling. That's what makes it so important, is that you have to keep doing it. You have to keep moving forward and hopefully progressing. Hopefully you're getting better as an artist, or at least in your eyes, you're getting better as an artist. It's hard to gauge what other people think.
Right. So as of right now, at least on Bandcamp, from what I saw, the current project out there is just being called a demo right now. Is there an official title? There's 5 songs that we can get at right now. Are we expecting it to come out, the 5 songs? Are we expecting it to come out packages, a full album? The songs I have right now: Up for the Downfall, Beyond the Grave, Shadow Possessed, New Fear Rising, Revile, and Style. Those are the 5 that I was able to access today. Will those come out in that format, or will the other 5 that you were talking about, how will it be packaged? How will it come out?
So what Nameless Grave is doing is they're pressing those 5 songs that are available free on Bandcamp, by the way. You don't have to buy this stuff if you don't want to.
Right.
And I was important for me to make this music free because I want people to know what we're about, and I want to get the name out there. But if you do like physical product, Nameless Grave is putting those 5 songs on a cassette, and they're putting those 5 songs on a CD. So for those of us who do like to have something we can hold in our hand, they're going to make that possible. Now, ideally, what we'll end up doing, because we recorded these songs in our lead guitar player's basement. We didn't use any real studio. We used his pretty standard mics. And he knows what he's doing, because I think it sounds great. We really do want to put out a full-length record where we will likely re-record these songs in a real studio, and put out and release a full-length album on, who knows at this point. We're still looking for a permanent, we're still looking for a label right now that we can hopefully get a little more exposure with. Right.
And so the current lineup, because I know, talking to artists who are in the extreme metal world, sometimes you'll go to their Wikipedia page and you'll see a laundry list of ex-members, past members. Right now it feels like a good solid lineup, everybody rowing in the same direction. Yeah,
no, that's what made it so easy, is that the 2 people that we added into the equation that weren't in CRYPTIC, the drummer and the bass player, both have so much history with everybody in this band. Brad and our drummer Dave Abramson have played together for over 20 years in a variety of projects. They've toured Europe together. Dave, our drummer, is also a sound man, so he knows just about every musician in town too. And Zoo, our bass player, plays guitar. She's primarily a guitar player. She agreed to play bass in Subversion Trigger because she loves metal, and she hasn't played in a metal band for a long time. But she plays guitar in one of the most popular bands in Seattle. Period. A band that actually makes money. They're called Nox Novacula, and they're death rock, and they're great. Dave Abramson is in a band, or drummer's in a band called Diminishment, which is like psychedelic surf punk. Dave Webb, our lead guitar player, is in a prog band called Moonletters. And if you like what Yes was doing in the 70s, Moonletters is like
Yeah.
That's what they're doing. It's
Yeah.
amazing. These guys are playing full on 70s prog, like what Yes was doing in stadiums, but they're doing it in tiny clubs, you know?
Yeah.
So we have a lot of there's these people in this band have all known each other for a long time. So communication is easy, and just being able to know what each other wants is becoming easier and easier. I hardly ever have to tell Dave what to play on the drums because he always seems to know exactly what is in my head.
Right. And that's nice. Right. That's nice when everybody's playing off each other and kind of knows, you know.
Yeah. And our singer, Brad, is also a drummer. So he can talk drums with Dave, with Dave, and they know how to communicate on that level. And how nice is it to have a singer who actually lifts gear?
I know. I'm not afraid of a little backbreaking work. Yeah, nothing wrong with that. And I'm curious because you started this so long ago when you were just a teenager yourself that I think maybe fans would like to know, was there a specific song or an album or an artist that got its hooks in you that got you to fall in love with the heavier side of music?
Well, so I had a local record shop just about a block and a half from where I grew up. And they did something that was totally unique starting in about 1978 for me, which is they were selling used albums as well as new albums.
Yeah.
So I started, I bought so many used records there, like $2-3. They used to sell Led Zeppelin bootlegs on the rack.
Yeah. Yeah.
and
the good old days.
I walked in there in late 1983 and they had this display new metal, and not NU metal.
Yeah.
But
not that kind.
And it was all these records, and one of them was Kill 'Em All.
Yeah.
And I picked that album up and I turned it over and I said, these are the ugliest motherfuckers I've ever seen.
Yeah.
I'm buying this.
They got to be onto something. Yeah.
They got to be onto something. Like, I never seen, it was usually Pretty Boys on album covers.
Right.
Then, right. These were not Pretty Boys.
Right.
And so that was the first thing where I was like, wow. Like this is something that I've never even heard. I never even imagined. And not long after that, I went to go see Wasp at the Troubadour. Now this was early days Wasp, before they became what they became.
Right.
They were still considered a pretty hardcore underground band, and they were the biggest band in Hollywood at the time. And they put on a hell of a show. And the Troubadour was a little club where, like, there used to be a folk club. My parents used to go there and see like the Smothers Brothers and all these folky bands back in the 60s.
Right.
It's still there, by the way. The Troubadour is still in West Hollywood. But in the old days at the Troubadour, the headliner played second. They had the opening band, the headliner, and then you had the closing band who played third. Now, everybody left after the headliner. So if you were closing the show, that was like the dog shit slot.
Yeah, you were screwed. Yeah.
After that Wasp show, everybody cleared out, and there was like 10 of us left. Slayer played.
Yeah.
This was the first week of 1984, and Show No Mercy had just come out 2 weeks before that. And I didn't know who they were. But I remember I walked down in front of the stage, and I was staring right at Jeff Hanneman, going, what in the fuck are these guys doing?
Yeah.
And I sat there perplexed for their whole set, trying to get my head around it. And the next day I went out, found Show No Mercy, bought that album. A week later, I was all in.
Yeah.
That was it.
Yeah.
That was it. And and from that point on, it was like, okay, where do I find more fast music? Who's doing this?
You're just digesting left and right.
There was no internet. Right.
Yeah.
So all you had was your friends, and and none of this was on the radio yet. I did have a buddy, Pat Hoed, who was a DJ called Atom Bomb back in the day. He had the only punk rock metal radio show in all of Los Angeles, and that was on the college station.
Yeah.
Like KXLU. So there were very few venues for figuring out who you were going to like. and you couldn't listen to a record before you bought it. You just had to gamble, like, oh,
right, roll the dice. Cool. Yeah. This cover looks cool and evil.
Right. But see, then this phenomenon popped up called tape trading.
Yes. Huge.
83, 84. This was how the underground grew, because you had these kids all over the country, all over the world, who were collecting these demos, rehearsal tapes. Like, some guy would send me a list and he'd have like 12 Slayer shows, 10 Exodus shows, 13 Venom shows, few Suicidal Tendencies. And like, you'd be like, okay, so if you had a show that he didn't have, you would dub a tape for him and you'd switch them out. You'd trade tapes with people.
Yep.
You'd send your list, they'd send theirs, and you'd mark off what you wanted. And the other thing we used to do was, before we'd mail these tapes out, we would rub soap on the stamps, right? So when you got a tape in the mail and you very carefully took the tape out, you'd lick your finger and wash that postmark right off the stamps,
right?
Because the soap was on there, and then you use the same stamps over and over and over again.
Yeah, right.
So that's the shit we had to do.
Right,
we were all poor,
Right,
right. None of us had any money, and so this is what I was doing, and this is how I hooked up with, like, Chuck Schuldiner from Death. Was one of the first people I met, and it was simply because he got a hold of our demo through a tape trader in Florida and called me at home. Literally the day I graduated high school.
What a great story. That's unbelievable. Right. And by the way, fucking rest in peace, man. An absolute death metal fucking legend. Let's not let that go unnoticed. Chuck, one of the greats. I
mean, Chuck was the first guy to ever tell me, I want to do this for a living. I want to be a death metal rock, and I was like, dude, I mean, I appreciate your motivation here, but do you really think that the world is ever going to accept this kind of music? Back then, I did not see that happening.
Right.
I had that vision. Chuck was always, and he was hard to get along with.
Yes.
He had band members come and go over and over. We didn't think, his close friends, and I'm talking about like me and Caton from Hyrax and other people who knew him well, we didn't think he was ever going to get it together at first, because he just couldn't keep a lineup together.
Yeah.
Hell, in 85, he moved to San Francisco to restart Death with Eric Brecht, the drummer who had just quit DRI.
Yep.
Kurt Brecht's brother.
I've had Kurt on. I've had Kurt on a few times. Love Kurt. Yep.
Yeah. Yep. And so and coincidentally, Excel and Cryptic played our first. Well, it was Cryptic's first Bay Area show at Ruthie's when Chuck happened to be staying there. So we got to get together and hang out and party with Chuck. But and then Chuck moves back to Florida. Sean and Matt from Repulsion, they weren't even Repulsion yet. They were still Genocide, moved down to Florida to join Death.
Yep.
And they lived down there with Chuck and his parents. Can you imagine, like, your parents just allowing two guys from Michigan to move into your house?
Yeah.
And play death metal?
Yeah, here's my two new bandmates. Make room on the couch. Yeah.
Your parents are going for this. I can't believe Scott and Matt's parents are letting them go.
I know. I know. It's crazy how it's crazy how, like, all these young guys were so committed though, and really had that drive. I mean, that's why it warms my heart when you say that there's young bands out there, man, who are taking the torch, because that's great to hear, man. Because without that drive and that determination, who knows? I mean, we wouldn't know the name Death. We wouldn't know the name Chuck Schuldiner, and yet here we are talking about him as a bona fide death metal, legend, a Mount Rushmore guy. He's up there.
Right, and I'll tell you what. Just for the record here too, I thought his name was Schuldiner for years.
Yeah.
But then when I started, when Matt and I, when Matt Olivo was playing with Cryptic, he called him Chuck Schuldiner, and I was like, well, you lived in the Schuldiner household for 8 months, so
you ought to know. Yeah.
You ought to know.
Yeah.
So and then Chuck moved up to Toronto to join the band Slaughter.
Right.
For a while.
Yep.
Who are also great. But that's how hard it was for him to actually nail down and finally get a lineup together. And of course he did, and it's all history from there.
Yeah.
But man, it was all of us, it was us against the world. That's
Right.
what the great thing was. We
Yeah.
didn't need radio. We didn't need, all we wanted was knowing that there was other people who felt the same way we did. They loved the same music we did, and they were down to come see us play. That's
Right.
all that mattered.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
were so anti-rock star. We were so anti-commercial. We didn't want anything to do with it. And honestly, I didn't even think that what we were doing was going to have any staying power at all.
Yeah.
Not only that, I thought this music peaked around 1988. I'm like, well, what else can be done?
Right.
You know?
Right. And yet there's still bands out there now still pushing the envelope and you know, pushing boundaries and, you know, heavier and faster. And I don't know if that's always necessarily good, but there's still people out there willing to push the envelope, though, is the point.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
And innovating is the best way to keep the creative juices flowing.
Yeah.
You know? So you don't just get stale and whatever. But the whole history of it and the motivation behind it was really just the love of the music. Nobody really thought they were going to get rich.
Which is really what which really at its core is what it should really be about anyway. Always. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's still what it's about for me.
Yeah.
That's why when I told you, you know, when I write a song, I got to make me happy.
Right.
I can't worry about what other people are going to think. If I dig it, that's supposed to mean something.
Right. Now, so before I let you out of here, because I want people to tap into this, where's the best place if they want to find out about the band, find out about plans, find out about upcoming stuff? Where's the best place? I know people are on social media somewhere. As we mentioned, you know, you can go listen to this this project right now for free on Bandcamp. But if they want to get any other information, even going forward, where's the best place? Are you guys on Instagram? Do you guys have a website? Will there be one?
Yep. There's a Subversion Trigger brand new Instagram account, brand new Facebook account.
Okay.
You can always hit me up I'm on Instagram more than I'm on Facebook. Facebook pisses me off more than Instagram does.
And they piss me off a few times too, goddammit. I'm trying to reach out to people and procure guests. And if I reach out to too many people with the same blanket message, which I'm not going to do this thing one at a time, and now I'll air my grievances with Facebook. So maybe somebody from Facebook will fucking see this. But if I put out a blanket message and I copy and paste it, and I put, hey, I host a podcast. I'm a big fan. I'd love to have you on sometime. If I apparently do that to too many people, they think I'm a bot, and then they freeze me and will not let me use Facebook Messenger, which handcuffs me for 24 hours, 48 hours, however they see fit. And there's no way to appeal this. They'll tell you that you can, but everything falls on deaf ears. There's nobody out there in the ether that you can actually tangibly fucking talk to. So it is infuriating. If there's another way to contact people, and Instagram is a little more spotty. There will be people that respond to direct messages on there, but you know, Facebook has pretty much worked the best for me. But yeah, they do piss me right off.
So let me leave you with a couple of thoughts.
Okay.
One thing that's brand new news just today. Scott Peterson, Cryptic Slaughter original drummer, sent me a text saying, "Hey, Brian Slagle, founder of Metal Blade Records, just emailed me asking if we have any cryptic artifacts that we'd like to donate to the Punk Rock Museum down in Los Angeles, because they're setting up a crossover display."
That's awesome.
So yeah, that's what I've been doing this morning is digging through old shit. I found like the very first shirt we ever printed. I found our old original Metal Blade.
Wow.
That's the only promo picture we ever had.
Wow. I can't believe that. I can't believe that. I did have people reach out to me in side messages. The other episode I had you on, and there were people, I don't know if I asked you this the last time, there were people who did want to know if anybody knew the whereabouts of one Bill Crooks.
Oh, yeah, I mean, sort of. He's still alive.
He's on planet Earth somewhere, folks. We know that.
He's somewhere in Texas.
Okay. Okay.
I know that he's married, he's got a kid, living a pretty normie type life from what I know.
Okay.
So yeah, no, Bill's good. Last time I saw him, he looked good. But we don't really keep in touch anymore.
You have one of the first shirts, Cryptic Slaughter shirts?
I do.
Wow.
I do. Yeah, it's right here. This I think this is actually even the first one that was ever printed.
Wow. Wow. That's a piece. Yeah, you're right. That's a piece of punk rock / crossover history right there. And congratulations, the fact that you guys are even being asked to contribute stuff, because I don't think there could be a proper crossover section of this museum if Cryptic Slaughter are not included.
Oh, well, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
And we're excited. I don't need this stuff just sitting in my drawers. I'd much rather have it somewhere where people can enjoy it.
Yeah,
And,
absolutely. Yeah.
And I got a bunch of flyers too, which is great because it shows how, it was weird when metal and punk bands started playing together. That never happened before.
Right.
People and punk kids used to beat each other up in high school. It wasn't
right.
And then all of a sudden we're at the same gigs together and everybody's cool. It was like, wow, this is how you expand the scene and how you expand consciousness.
Yeah.
And so, I think it is an important part of the history, and I'm really stoked that we've been asked to donate some stuff. I'll keep people apprised of that on the social media as well.
Okay.
One last thing that I have to say. What's going on in this country right now is unlike anything I ever imagined happening. What we were complaining about and upset about in the 80s was awful, but we're watching now a systematic dismantling of the Constitution and as our rights as human beings, not even American citizens, our fucking human rights. Okay? Don't give in to this bullshit and don't give in to this line of garbage that they're feeding you about these so-called immigrants who are coming here to do evil. I mean, did we all forget where we came from? Every fucking one of us is an immigrant.
Yeah.
Unless you're native born, unless you're indigenous, you're a fucking immigrant.
Your family came from somewhere. Yeah.
Exactly. We didn't start here. We landed here.
Yeah.
And it was already fucking occupied.
Yeah.
Okay. We fucking took it over.
Yep.
But don't fall for any of this horse shit. This administration is not going to last. They, just like every evil fucking wannabe dictator, they will be ousted. And don't be on the fucking wrong side of history, because these assholes will pay for it. There will be a fucking Nuremberg for these fucking absolute pieces of shit. Everybody who comes here is trying to find a better life. Isn't that what America was supposed to stand for?
Yeah.
A better future for your family, a better life. These are not fucking horrible people. These are people that are trying. They're hard workers, and they're being fucking dragged out of their homes and their cars and their schools and little kids. What the fuck is going on here? I'm sorry. I know
it's the land of opportunity. It's supposed to be the land of opportunity anyway. Yeah, and that's what people are looking for. They're looking for opportunity.
And I know how fucked up, this country sold out 100 years ago. Believe me, I understand all that. But we cannot give in to fascism, which is what we are slipping into very quickly in this country.
Yeah.
And I know I'm preaching to the choir. I would suspect that the majority of your listeners understand and agree with this.
Sure.
But as a matter of public record, I'm not going to shut up about this.
Yeah. Well, you're an artist, though. You're an artist, and you have a voice, and if you feel it's your responsibility to use it that way, you should. I mean, that's what this country is built on. The First Amendment. It's these freedoms that we've taken for granted.
Yep, and another amendment falls.
Yeah.
How much dismantling and destroying? Are they just going to have a Constitution burning party soon?
Right.
Imagine that.
Yeah.
Fat Boy will just have a lighter there, and he'll just flame it up. That's what it's. I think that's what it's coming to. It's the ultimate. Point your finger at somebody else and blame them for your misery. That's the tactic, and if you're a person considering signing up for ICE, if you think this is a good career path, just know that you will be judged, your family will be judged, and history will always look at you like the scum of the earth that you are.
Yeah. Yep. Well said. Well said. Well said. And I'm glad that I'm glad that you do have a forum and that you are able to get these things out and say these things because working in the field that you do, being an artist, you know what I mean, you do have a voice, that can reach people. Some people aren't so fortunate, regardless of how many people it reaches, it can reach people,
Right. I'll use my D-list celebrity to the greatest extent possible.
Yeah. But I appreciate you doing this, man. It's always a pleasure talking to you, man. I said I had two things to do today for my birthday. Unfortunately, one was a doctor's appointment, which is not where you want to spend your 53rd birthday. No. And the other one was getting to have a conversation and chop it up with you about new music, man. So that did make my day. So I appreciate it.
Right on, Mark. I hope you have a great and happy birthday.
Thank you so much.
We need to talk some boxing. I actually rewatched When We Were Kings just because I thought we might talk some boxing.
Oh, so what did you think about When We Were Kings, though? Awesome, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. I mean, it's so much. It was about so much more than just boxing.
Yeah.
That was one of the things, too, is that with the Black Panthers back in the picture now,
yeah.
I thought, well, Ali was one of the first guys to say, fuck this shit.
Really a guy, yeah. I mean, really a guy, and having done over 300 episodes of my boxing podcast, so many people have echoed that same sentiment that Ali is the GOAT in the sport, not because of his ring accomplishments. Ali was defeated in the ring multiple times, man, but the guy that he was outside of the ring is why he's the GOAT in most boxers' eyes. That's why.
Well, absolutely. I still think he's the GOAT in the ring as well.
No question. Even the greats lose. I'm not one of those ones who buys into the fact that you got to remain undefeated to be in that GOAT conversation. I mean, you can't swim without getting wet. You're going to get in the ring. You're punching people and getting punched for a living. People lose in sports.
Well, and not only that, but all these wins and losses were still like the greatest matches of all time.
No question. Yeah. 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 Yeah.
So yeah, he was a guy that you couldn't nail down. He was in his prime. I don't think he was beatable.
Yeah, yeah. And just one of those guys that you just have to look at as just one of those guys, like not even not in sports history, but just political, cultural. I mean, he's just one of those guys that's just head and shoulders above everybody else in the boxing world.
Agreed.
Yeah. But I appreciate it. So people can find out Subversion Trigger, all the social media platforms, correct?
All the social media platforms. Hit me up. Hit up the band. Whatever you want. I'll get you all the info you need.
I got to make sure that I point this out because I actually wore this to the doctor today. But when I was putting together my battle vest and sewing all these patches on, probably one of the first ones I bought right there.
Nice.
Yeah, that was probably one of the first 3 that went on here, man. Yeah.
Is that green?
It's green. Yeah.
Oh, wow. I've seen several bootlegs. I haven't seen that one. I dig it.
Yeah.
Right on, man.
Smack dab right in the center of the back. Yeah.
All right. I appreciate that. That's a high compliment. I know the top bands go on.
Coveted spot. A coveted spot, Les. You know the battle vest rules. It's a coveted spot. It is.
That's right. Yeah. And that's where I have my
love them. Yeah. Love them. Yeah. And you're always flying the flag, man. Even now, man, for that crossover scene, man. Yeah. And I'm glad because I think we need it now more than ever, man. You know what I mean? Like the voice, the message.
Yeah. Come together.
Yeah.
That's what it was always about.
Yeah. So people can find the album. They can go listen to it right now, and certainly a lot more to come from you guys.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah. And thanks so much, Mark. I had a great time.
Always a pleasure, man. I appreciate it, man. And stay in touch. We'll do it again soon, my friend.
Absolutely.
All right. Thank you, my friend.
Yep.
Good talking to you, Les.
Have a great one.
You too. Later. There he goes, folks. The great Les Evans, schooling us on the musical career, everything with his new project, Subversion Trigger, which I would urge people to go out and cop and listen to. You can feast your ears on it free right now on Bandcamp. Subversion Trigger. 5 songs. They kick fucking ass. If you were a fan of Cryptic Slaughter, if you were a fan of Low Life, Manifest Chaos, any of the incarnations of anything that Les has done, you will love this good old fashioned crossover thrash done the fucking right way, and expect more from them. Listen, I love chopping it up with Les. Cryptic Slaughter means a lot to me. A fucking great fucking band. You can always go back and listen to that shit as well, man. It's out there, man. Awesome fucking music. Early Cryptic Slaughter will hit you upside your head like nothing fucking else. It was fast, it was raw, it was real. At one time, I think they were the fastest fucking band on the planet. But as we alluded to in that interview, very melodic. They found a way to seamlessly thread melody with speed and aggression like nobody else. And I'm not saying there's not other great crossover bands. You got your DRIs, you got your Excels, like the shirt that Les was representing. You got your Suicidal Tendencies. You got your, you know, there's a lot of great crossover bands out there. You guys know the deal. But what CRYPTIC Slaughter was doing was very special. They were teenagers when they started out, and it is fucking amazing music. Convicted, Money Talks, those early albums are fucking great, and you can find them still probably on the streaming platforms. The physical products are probably still out there. They're probably collector's items at this point. And Subversion Trigger is Les's newest thing on Nameless Grave Records. Shout out to them for helping the fellas out. And I think you are going to like this for fans of CRYPTIC Slaughter, for fans of thrash, for fans of punk, for fans of crossover thrash, call it what you will, of just good fucking music, melodic with a message. Go support the fellas, and there will be links to all their social media stuff and even the Bandcamp page so you can listen to it. So go support the boys. You know how I always you know, I'm always straight with you guys. If you're going to be a fan, be a fan. Go find out what the fellas are doing. Get to a show, buy some merch, cop the physical product, get on a mailing list, sign up for a newsletter. Help these bands out. They're grinding, they're hustling, they're playing in little clubs, they're humping up and down the road in vans and in tour buses. Be a good fan, be about it, support music, support live music, and get out there and be a real one. That being said, now I'll give you my obligatory promotional spiel, because as you know, if you have a podcast, you got to pimp it. The pimp hand is feeling strong today. It's my birthday. At the time of this recording, it's January 29th. Your boy Reckless Rexx was born on this day 53 years ago. So here we go. Make sure to tap into PodScum on Facebook. Our handle is Off the Couch Boxing and PodScum. As Les alluded to, I got two shows. The boxing show, Off the Couch Boxing, and for you rock and metal maniacs, I got you covered here on PodScum. You can get information on both podcasts on that Facebook page. Same handle on Instagram, Off the Couch Boxing and PodScum. And of course, if you're watching us here right now, this is where you need to be. If you want to hear and watch the entire conversations, be here with us. This is where you'll get the meat and potatoes. Like, subscribe, and smash that notification bell. I'm all fired up now. Les got me fired up. You can hear it in my voice, right? I'm charged up, man. And that's good. That's a good thing. I like a charged up Rex Ruger. Anyway, like, subscribe, smash that notification bell, and you will be in the loop and privy to when new content drops. And you know we give you something new every single week, sometimes an episode, sometimes multiple episodes, depending on how fruitful our week has been, how much content we've amassed. But when I get it, I like to roll it out to you guys. I'm excited to do the episodes. I'm even more thrilled to get them out and have you guys watch and listen to them. So we don't sit on content over here at PodScum. That's not how we roll. We get it out to the audience. Speaking of the audience, I want to thank my viewers, my subscribers. Of course, at the end of the day, my guests. Without them, I know it's glorious to look at me, but you tune in for these amazing conversations that I bring you. So utmost thanks goes to the guests, specifically today, Les Evans, formerly of CRYPTIC Slaughter. And now Subversion Trigger is what he'd like you to know and tap into. That's where his focus is right now, and yours should be too. Go check this music out, man. Les is a great guy, great musician, and these are great songs, and this is going to be a great project. That I do believe, based on what I've heard so far. I didn't get to this, but I'll address the proverbial elephant in the room, because you've probably been watching me throughout the interview. I usually do this at the top of the show. Les got in here so quick, I didn't have a chance to, but this whole time, I'm sure you're only human. You've had your eyes glued to these smoldering good looks, these luscious blonde rock star locks. I will confirm for you that yes, this whole time, little did you know, you were looking at the one and only love child of one Diamond David Lee Roth. There. I just cut you in on it. And you know what? I don't know if it's anything to be proud of these days, the way Dave is out there representing himself. Opinions vary, but at least I came clean with it, man. So now I feel good. It's off my chest. And I appreciate you guys. At the end of the day, I couldn't do this without you guys. The channel is going great. We're off to a great start here in 2026. New content. We've already got a couple episodes up. We slowed down a little bit around the holidays, which I told you guys we would, but we are ramping it up. I got a lot of surprises coming your way, a lot of tricks up my sleeve, a lot of potential great interviews that I am trying to lock in and run down for you guys, man. So stick with us. And until we get together and we do this thing again, this is your boy, Reckless Rex, reminding you guys to take it easy and keep it sleazy.